All right, welcome everybody to another edition of LA Press Box. I'm glad you're here to enjoy another night of Dodgers baseball. And a special welcome to Rockies fans joining us tonight. If you're affected by a local TV blackout, you're away from home, or simply looking for another way to follow the game, you found your live game companion. Here on LA Press Box, we'll track every pitch with live 3D field animation, real time statistics, score updates, strategy, and conversation throughout the night. Whether you're cheering for Colorado or LA, we're glad you're here. Tonight's game two of this three-game series at Dodger Stadium, and if last night's opener was any indication, we're in for another entertaining matchup. It's actually the first extra inning win for the Dodgers this year, and they had to earn every bit of it. They went 11 innings, and Shohei Ohtani delivered another superstar performance, driving in 4 runs and launching the 299th home run of his professional career. But it was rookie Dalton Rushing who played the hero. He had 2 doubles earlier in the game and then a walk-off single in the bottom of the 11th after the Rockies erased a 5-run deficit late and briefly took the lead in extra innings. He also made a huge tag as a result of 3 great defensive plays, or at least 3 different efforts on the same play to keep the game level and to go into extra innings earlier on. It was a huge hit that bounced off the wall that Andy Pajes took and wheeled and threw to Miguel Rojas. And Rojas then, after that relay, threw home to Rushing. The runner was initially called safe for a 7-6 lead for the Rockies, but immediately Rushing called the challenge. And when you looked at the replay, by the slimmest of margins, even though the runner made a great headfirst sliding tackle into home, Rushing tagged his offhand that was not reaching for home plate. And that proved to be one of a number of crucial moments that determined the outcome of the game. So for LA, the win continued an impressive run of baseball, and the Dodgers now have won 11 of their last 14 games and continue to hold the best record in the National League. In fact, the best record in all of baseball by a couple of games. But you have to give the Rockies plenty of credit. And I like the direction that the franchise is going in. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, seeing that they are bottom feeders in terms of the standings, but they have a bunch of young players that are really hungry and showed last night that they were going to play right to the last pitch. Colorado could have folded after they trailed early 6-1, but they didn't. They just kept battling the entire night. So I think tonight's going to be another exciting game. They've actually been playing quietly much better baseball over the last month, and they're becoming known for their late game offense. In fact, no team in the major leagues has scored more runs in the 8th inning or later this season. And last night's comeback was an indicator of that. Tonight's pitching matchup features left-hander Justin Robleski for the Dodgers. A little bit of controversy, looking at the fact that he did not make the All-Star team. And he'll be pitching against a veteran right-hander Michael Lorenzen for Colorado. Robleski has been one of LA's most reliable starters this season, carrying a 10-2 record and a 2.80 ERA into tonight's game. After the bullpen was forced to cover 5 innings in the opener, the Dodgers would love a deep outing from their young lefty. Lorenzen, meanwhile, is looking to bounce back and help Colorado even the series. And we'll take a look at his ERA in a second. Keep an eye on Shohei Ohtani tonight as he looks to become just the latest member of the 300 home run club. And after finishing 1 homer shy of the milestone last night, I'm sure every at-bat will have Dodger Stadium buzzing. Freddie Freeman, Kyle Tucker, and Dalton Rushing have also been swinging hot bats lately, giving LA one of the deepest lineups in baseball. As always, we're going to follow every pitch together with live 3D field tracking, real-time stats, strategy breakdown, and interaction in the chat. So if you're joining us for the first time, let us know where you're watching from and which team you're cheering for. Any other predictions? Whether you're in LA, Denver, or somewhere else across the country or even around the world, we're glad you've chosen to spend your evening with us. So we're going to take you to the lineups tonight, starting with our projected pitchers. As you can see here, we've got Lorenzen first, followed by Robleski. Lorenzen's record so far is 3-9, and he's got a high ERA of 6.91. Although if you adjust that for the fact that he plays in a stadium at home that is really a hitter's stadium. It's not quite as ballooned as it might look on paper. He's got 67 Ks this year and 32 walks, 13 home runs he's given up. Wroblewski is 10-2. He's got a 2.80 ERA, like we said before, and he's got 64 Ks with only 18 walks and 8 home runs. Shohei Ohtani is the batting leader, right there with Freddie Freeman. Depending on what you're looking at, Shohei's hitting for a little more power and slightly higher average. Freddie has been definitely the deliverer in the clutch for the Dodgers when they've needed it, game in and game out. As far as the Rockies batting lineup, they're going to start with Castro at second base, then Karros third base, Rumfield first, and then in center field, Carrig batting cleanup. Then Freeman in right field, McCarthy in left field, Tovar at shortstop, Fulford at catcher, and then Moniak at the DH position. The Dodgers, pretty predictable in the first half of the lineup, although Mookie Betts gets the night off, so a couple of people will slot and move up in the order. You do have Shohei leading off in the DH position, as is customary, followed by Andy Pages in center field, then Freddie Freeman at first. Max Muncy will be batting cleanup instead of Mookie Betts playing third base. Tommy Edman gets the start tonight in left field. Kyle Tucker will be in right field. Rushing moves up a spot as the catcher, followed by Alex Freeland at second and Miguel Rojas at shortstop, doing the fielding duties that Mookie would normally do. So first pitch is in a couple of minutes, and as we always do, what we're going to do is load the 3D as well as the box score that will show up shortly. So now is a perfect time to grab a snack and a drink and settle in for some Dodgers Rockies baseball. Wroblewski getting ready to start the game. Just came off 11 strikeout outing with no walks. And starts the game with a strike. A lot of confidence in his fastball as the next pitch is fouled off. And now Castro in the one position starts out with an 0-2 count. Castro is batting .267 on the season with 6 home runs and 35 RBI. And strikes out Castro for the first strikeout of the night, and probably one of a number that you can expect from Mr. Robleski. So that'll bring up Karros in the 2 spot, batting .264 with 7 home runs and 30 RBI. First pitch is fouled off, and the count is 0-1. Next one, popped pretty deep, but playable in right field for the second out of the inning. So next up, 3-hitter Rumfield. It's just a couple of digits below 300. 47 RBI. Early count to Rumfield is a strike. And Robleski looks locked in. We usually look at just the first 2 batters, 3 batters in, to see whether a pitcher looks like they have good control, and his control looks fantastic so far. Now it's 0-2. Next pitch fouled off, and the count remains. The 0-2 pitch, just outside. Rushing tries to frame it and freezes after pulling it just inside from the outside of the strike zone, but it missed. So the count's 1-2. Next one misses well outside, ball 2. And the next pitch is low and outside, but Rumfield stays alive by making contact. This is one of the things that he's known for. And the next pitch misses. Same spot that he's missed earlier in this at bat. And now the count's full with 2 outs. So that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, Cole Carrick, who's batting .309. Since June 28th, he has a .429 average. So the first pitch swung on, hit deep, but Andy Pajes is in position and only has to take 2 steps to catch it and put them away. So, after the first bat around for the Rockies, 1 on with a walk. But that's it. Dodgers coming up shortly. Dodgers today were the first team in the major leagues to get to 60 wins. We'll see how they do against Lorenzen. He's got an ERA of almost 7. All right, in the throwdown, and that means Shohei Ohtani coming up. And the first pitch to Ohtani misses just outside for a ball. 1-0. Lorenzen's got all kinds of tools in the toolbox, but not necessarily the most effective. So 2-0. And Shohei blasts this to center field. And it is over the wall for his 300th home run. Boy, he got all of that, no doubt. I mean, it was only a little bit higher than a line drive. Such power. So that'll bring up Andy Pages. And another leadoff home run. That's got to be close to his 30th, which is just crazy. That's why you got to be in your seat and ready to go when the Dodgers are up to bat their first time around. I'm guessing that's as often a position for him to hit a home run. This is his first bat of a typical game as he's going to have. Boy, I think he really got it served up in the perfect spot for him. It was in the strike zone, and it was a slider that didn't move very much, and it was just to the lower outside of it so he could lift it and get the fat part of the bat on it. And fouled off by Andy Pages. The early count to him is 2-2. Next pitch on the way to Pages. Fouled off. Count remains 2-2. Pages is 2 for 5 with a home run in his career against Lorenzen. Pitch swung on, hit to third. The pitcher gets it, throws it to first, and it's flubbed. It's wide, and it goes all the way out of bounds. And Pages turns and runs to second. High chopper, and the pitcher Lorenzen tried to barehand it. When he did, it popped up in his hand. He had to regrip, and then made a bad situation worse by kind of throwing it away. The first baseman did not have a fair chance to be able to field that. So still no outs, and now there's a runner on second and Freddie Freeman coming up. First pitch fouled off. Freeman's batting .292, just a couple of points below where Shohei is. Shohei's probably around .297, .298. And Freeman's got 15 home runs and 49 RBI. So one away from 50. Flies out for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up a new cleanup hitter tonight, Max Muncy. And the early count to Muncy is 1-1. Muncy's batting .268 with 17 home runs and 40 RBI. You know, the thing that's really difficult now about the Dodgers is just the fact that you can't count on the fact that once you get past the first 2/3 of the lineup, the rest of it's going to be no good. That was true for the early part of the second quarter of this season, but no longer, with some of these guys stepping up and also becoming healthy. You know, so rushing has definitely been batting better. You also have Tommy Edman back and available. Miguel Rojas is always ready to go. Next pitch misses for ball 2, 2-1. Teoscar Hernandez is back. So the depth is really there. And there's still a couple more key players who are hurt, like Will Smith, who haven't come back yet. Same thing with Kiki Hernandez. Next pitch fouled off, and now the count is 3-2. So 1 away, runner at second. 1-0 lead after Shohei Ohtani's home run to dead center. And the next pitch swung on and missed by Muncy. Just underneath it and too late on the swing. So 2 away, and that will bring up Tommy Edman, who, since he's been back from injury, is batting .347. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. Dodgers hoping to bring home Andy Pages. Next pitch misses, ball 1. 1-1 to Edman. And the pitch swung on, grounded to second base. Castro picks it up and throws to first base, no problem. And 3 away. But at the bottom of 1, the Dodgers already on the scoreboard with the blast to center field by Shohei Ohtani. So we begin the second inning. And now the 5-hitter, Freeman, comes up to bat. And the first pitch in their first strike. And Wroblewski continues his command. This pitch swung on and hit to right field for an easy play by Kyle Tucker there. So 1 away quickly. The top of the second. So that brings up McCarthy, who swings and misses, and the strikes just keep on coming. Pitch on the way and hits McCarthy inside. Hit him right on the right hand. Ooh, that's painful. Because there's no give. It looked like it hit him on, gosh, the right knuckle above the ring finger. He's definitely grimacing and shaking it off as he makes his way to first base. There's no give there because he's got a hard surface on the other side of that hand, which is the baseball bat. So 1 on, 1 out. And that brings up the 7-hitter, Tovar. And the defense shifted way over for the right-hander. And there's a steal, throw down a second, and made in time. Wow, Dalton rushing on a roll. That has been one thing that has not really been strong for him lately. He's been struggling. He was struggling at the plate. And he got that fixed. And the last several times people have tried to run on him, his throws have not been good, but that one was right on the money. So 2 away. Tovar fouls the next pitch off. So now the count's 0-2 with 2 outs. Wrobleski throwing a lot of strikes. And the next one is swung on and missed for strike 3. And just like that, there's 3 away. Another quick up and down for the Rockies. And a really good start for Justin Wrobleski, responding to, oh, you could argue being snubbed by the All-Star voting. So Lorenzen warming up, and Kyle Tucker set to get his first crack at him. Looks like he's throwing his bat around. Tucker seems like a nice, mild guy. In reality, he'd be the last person to throw his bat. So we go to the middle of the second. And Kyle Tucker's average, after struggling through much of the second quarter of the season, is now above 250. He's batting .252 with 7 home runs and 45 RBI. Gets started with a ball well outside. And swings and misses on the next pitch. Slightly inside. Really struggled with doing just that on the foul ball, getting around the ball and swinging a little bit too early. And what he's been trying to do, and he's done somewhat successfully lately, is keeping his hands back and staying inside the ball. Kind of walks around a little bit, tries to reset himself because he knows that he was going back to a bad habit on that. Counts 1-2 to Tucker. And the next pitch swung on and missed. Ball inside, where it looks like he was thinking up there and he was trying to keep his hands back. But in this case, it made him late on arrival. And that's the most important thing. You got to swing at strikes. So 1 away for the Dodgers, and now Dalton Rushing, who's moved up to the 7th spot today, comes up. He's been somewhat hot lately. Looks at the first pitch for a ball. And the next pitch swung on and flied, but the catch easily made in left field for the second out of the inning. So that'll bring up the 8-hitter, Alex Freeland, who's 3 for his last 24 and batting only .226 on the season. Does have 3 home runs. Looks at the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. And does the same on the next pitch. 0-2. And this is what I've seen for weeks from Freeland. He gets fooled. He really struggles differentiating between balls and strikes. So the 0-2 pitch on the way. And check swing or strike three. Perfect example of what we're talking about. This looks uncertain and confused. So the game moving relatively quickly early on. And at the end of 2, it's the Rockies 0 and the Dodgers 1. So we go to the top of the third, and Justin Wrobleski comes back up, who's been, along with his defense, one of the best defenses in the major leagues, making quick work of the Rockies so far. So now the 8 batter, Fulford, is in, who's only batting 184 on the season. And Wrobleski goes right at him for strike 1. Next pitch misses for a ball, high and outside, 1-1. Fulford has only 1 home run on the season and 7 RBI. Next pitch is well inside, and Wrobleski falling behind early, 3-1. Shakes his head, comes off the mound, and says, "Come on now. I gotta be going after this guy." And that's what he does in the next pitch for a strike. So now the count's full. So full count, and the pitch high and swung on for strike 3. So another strikeout for Wrobleski. We'll see if tonight measures up at all to his last outing when he had 11 strikeouts and no walks. So next up is the 9-hitter, Moniak, batting .277. Starts him with a strike. And the pitch on the way. Swung on and hit to second, just out of the reach of Freeland. So a base hit. Looked like he may have just nipped it with his glove, but it was a little too far for him to get there. And so with 1 out, the Rockies have a runner. And they're going to the top of the lineup. So the first time up, Castro struck out, and so he's 0 for 1 on the evening. See if there's much of a lead on first. Not too much. Obviously thinking about the fact that Dalton Rushing's already thrown out one runner tonight. But Wroblewski's 2-0 on this batter. Hopefully saying, don't mess around and go after him too. The next pitch misses inside. And so 3 straight balls. Make that 4 straight. 4 balls, no strikes to Castro. That's a very different look from Wroblewski compared to the first 2 innings. And now, as Rushing comes out from behind the plate to try to calm down Wroblewski, there are 2 runners on with only 1 out. Next up, the number 2 hitter, Karros, who's also 0 for 1 tonight. Next pitch is also a ball, 5 straight. And that last at bat was only the 4th 4 straight ball walk that Wroblewski's thrown this year. Next pitch swung on a miss for a strike. So 1-1. Actually, he's walking it off because he did get a piece of it and fouled it into his own knee. So Karros trying to move the runners along. If possible, bring in the man on second who's in scoring position. Look at the next pitch for a strike, 1-2. Wroblewski checks the runner and delivers a pitch that is fouled off. Karros kind of limps after he swings and fouls that ball, wondering if he's still in some pain after fouling it off of his knee earlier in the at-bat. Karros batting .263 on the season. Next pitch also fouled off. Once again, falls over the plate and walks in a loop to return back to the batter's box. Two-strike pitch. Looked at for strike 3. Good job by Wroblewski placing that ball right on the corner and freezing Karros. So now 2 away with 2 runners on. And that'll bring up a tough out, the number 3 batter, Rumfield. Walked the first time he was up. DJ is batting .297. Excellent as a contact hitter. Looks at the first pitch for a strike. Next pitch fouled off and out of play for an 0-2 count. So Wroblewski, after a little bit of life for the Rockies, trying to close the door on this inning right now. Walks to the back of the mound and scrapes off his cleats, trying to get a little better grip on the mound. Wroblewski now up to 44 pitches. Next one is fouled off, and Rumfield stays alive. Hard guy to strike out. Another 0-2 pitch and another foul. Field did not throw his bat and catch it, although that would have been impressive. So another 0-2 pitch on the way to Rumfield. Swung on and hit to second base, and it actually hits the runner and automatically scores the third out of the inning. Castro gets clipped by the infield ground ball, and that'll be it for the Rockies. So after 3 at-bats, they still have no runs on the scoreboard, and it's Rockies 0, Dodgers 1. So going to the bottom of the third, Renzen holding his own so far. And the number 9 hitter, Miguel Rojas, up, who's batting .290 in, I guess you could say, relief, more like utility work this year. Sometimes he starts, sometimes he comes off the bench. He has such an amazing attitude. It doesn't matter whether he's going to pinch hit for somebody or Dave Roberts needs him to play left field, play any position pretty much, including pitch if the game's out of reach. He's just always ready to go. So one away, and Otani swings and flies it to center field. Not enough to be scary for the Rockies. And two away. So Andy Pages coming up, batting 266, and he's 1 for 1. Swung on miss for a strike. And the pitch swung on and hit to third base. Harris comes to get it, and after charging it and making quick work on the way to first base, that is a 1-2-3 inning for the Dodgers and Lorenzen. So a man with almost a 7-run ERA is hanging tough, and it's only a 1-run lead. So we go to the top of the fourth, and Robleski, a bit of a roller coaster, but still holding the Rockies, thanks to his defense in part, scoreless at this point. Also, a running error to end the last inning. But only 2 hits for each team to this point. And the next hitter coming up is Carrick. Swings and flies it to right. Out of bounds? No, actually, bobbled and then caught by Kyle Tucker for an out. So Carrick bangs his bat on the ground. So game is moving along quickly, and only 1 pitch to get 1 out so far at the top of the fourth. Next up is the 5-hitter Freeman. Freeman's 0 for 1 so far, and he's batting 275. First 2 pitches miss, 2-0. Blesky over 50 pitches now in this game. Next one also misses, 3-0. Blesky definitely hoping to not have another 4-ball walk with no strikes. Next one's in there for a strike. So 3-1 now. And the next one fouled off by Freeman. And now the count's full, 3-2. Next one fouled off, and the count remains the same. Full. Infield shifted over and swung on and fly to second base. And Freeland makes the catch without much trouble. It's in a good spot, just had to back up a little bit, and now 2 away. So with 2 outs, that'll bring up McCarthy. First pitch misses outside for a ball, 1-1. Next one swung on a miss for a strike. Wrobleski really goes fast to the point where you see the batter here step out and say, hey man, this guy's on fast forward. He's in a big old rush. Tries to collect himself before stepping back into the batter's box. And the pitch fouled back. Suddenly, McCarthy is down 1-2. McCarthy has an inside the park home run this year. So he's got some wheels, to say the least. And the 2-strike pitch on the way. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Another strikeout for Wrobleski. And makes quick work of the Rockies this inning. Lead is still 1-0 Dodgers. So Lorenzen coming up and doing a solid job tonight, other than the walk-off home run to Shohei Ohtani. And Lorenzen all warmed up. Throw down to second, as is customary. And we get ready for another Dodgers at bat. So Freddie Freeman comes up. Popped out his first time, so he's 0 for 1 tonight. And swings and miss for strike 1. Freddie Freeman just named to the All-Star team, justifiably, once again. His 5th straight time doing so once he came to the Dodgers. Just battles every single at bat. So 1-1 early to Freeman. And swung on and grounded in the perfect spot between the overplayed shortstop and second baseman. Wow. He couldn't have placed that any better if he had thrown it himself. And he hits it to to the middle of the field so often that defenses shift that way. I don't know if you caught this right before he swung, but he had the shortstop and the second baseman close to second base, and the third baseman playing effectively where shortstop often plays. And he still squeezed it in there. So no outs, Freddie Freeman on, and that's going to bring up Max Muncy, who struck out last time. And swings too early on the second pitch, and counts 0-2 early to Max Muncy. Just crazy how good and consistent Freddie Freeman is. You know, I can't remember the last time somebody subbed for him. I know that first base is the least taxing physically of all the positions in the infield. But still, nonetheless, I mean, he's getting up there in his career. And he just doesn't miss it. And when he's around, then he's going to play. Max Muncy strikes out again. And pretty angry. One away. And it's going to bring up the number 5 hitter, Tommy Edman. 0 for 1, but batting .340. First pitch. Grounded foul along the first base side for strike 1. So Freddie on first. And the count is 1-1 to Tommy Edman. If you missed it, Shohei Ohtani hit yet another leadoff home run tonight. His 300th in his career. Next pitch misses outside. Ball 2. Looks like Freddie has not been taking much of a lead, and there's no reason for him to. Pretty modest. And the next pitch catches the inside of the strike zone on Tommy Edman, and now the count's 2-2. Got to think that the runs are going to come any second now. Lorenzen's done a nice job for the Rockies so far, but his ERA is almost 7. And yeah, you have to account for the fact that he's got, half of his outings, roughly, taking place at the Rockies stadium, which is a hitter's ballpark. But such a golden opportunity for the Dodgers to erupt and get some runs. So the next pitch to Edman. Oh, you can see Freddie Freeman's on the run. It's actually a hit and run. And a beautiful job by Tommy Edman making contact and putting it in a spot right behind where Freddie Freeman is. And that's just winning baseball. Yes, the Dodgers have all-stars. Yes, they have talent, but they do the small things. They execute. They're disciplined in a way that you would expect a championship team to be. And this is why they're the first team to 60 wins so far this season. And why they're a favorite at this point to have a three-peat. One of the few three-peats, championship, that have ever happened in baseball history. So 1 away, and now you have runners at the corners. And the 6 hitter, Kyle Tucker, is coming up, who did not look comfortable his first at bat. Struggling with his, his placement of his hands and the timing of his hands. First pitch misses for a ball, but swung too early and fouled one along the first base side. And you could see him kind of like doing some self-talk because he's been working to not do that during his slump of the second quarter of this season. Next pitch also misses. In fact, they even cut to the dugout and showed what looked to be the hitting coach kind of saying the same thing. He needs to be keeping his hands back, and he tried to with 2 strikes and just didn't get around quickly enough on the ball. So the count is 2-1 to Tucker. Runner in scoring position. Swings and makes contact to second base. And the Rockies are able to turn 2 to end the threat and end the inning. So at the bottom of 4, it's the Rockies 0 and the Dodgers 1. So Justin Robleski set to take the mound again and currently holding this Rockies lineup to no runs. You don't expect that to continue. I really feel, based on the personnel in this game and the history of both of these teams, that right now is the calm before the storm. We'll see what happens as Tovar gets in the batter's box and fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. Next pitch on the way from Robleski. Swung on and grounded to Rojas, who turns on it and throws to first for the first out of the inning, no problem. 1 away. So that'll bring up Fulford, who swings at the first pitch, and it's a blooper that drops into right field for a base hit. And with 1 away, the Rockies have a runner on. So next up, the 9-hitter, Mickey Moniak. I like that name. That's fun. Rockies are aggressive right now, swinging at early pitches. So does this one. Fouled off for strike 1, 0-1. Next pitch misses for a ball, 1-1. Swung on and hit in the gap between short and third. And Rojas gets to the ball, does a nice job getting to that ball, but can't turn the corner and throw it to second in time. I mean, a great job making a play. That's just an infield hit. So now there are 4 hits for the Rockies. Still haven't scored. But only 1 out with Castro coming up. And runners at first and second. Blesky checks second. And Castro swings and fouls off. So continues the trend. And maybe this is the scouting report by the Rockies. Swing early and swing often. So with 2 runners on, 0-1 to Castro. Swings, chops it short, and rolls foul along the third base line. So now the count's 0-2. Robleski finds himself yet again with 2 runners on. And gets this one to swing and miss for strike 3. So Robleski now up to 6 strikeouts and 70 pitches. With 2 away, trying to close the door on this inning as well. Number 2 hitter, Karros, comes up, who's 0 for 2 tonight. No, there's not a catcher batting up there. Also swings at the first pitch, flies it to right, and Tucker is there to make the grab. So another quick 3 up and 3 down with 2 runners left on. And at the middle of 5, still just a 1-run lead for the Dodgers. So we go to the bottom of the 5th and the bottom of the Dodgers lineup coming up, starting with the 7 hitter Rushing, who's 0 for 1 tonight. Looks at the first pitch inside for a ball. Next pitch misses. 2-0. And looks at a strike. Count now 2-1. And looks at the ball low for 3-1 now. Look for something he can work with. And the pitch misses outside for ball 4. And the Dodgers have a leadoff runner. So that'll bring up Alex Freeland, the 8-hitter, who last time up looked the way that he's looked for quite some time now. Confused. But it's righty on lefty. So hopefully you can see the ball well and maybe figure out a little bit of a pattern after seeing this guy the first time. Swings at the first pitch and it gets through first base. And that's going to be a hit. And Dalton Rushing goes all the way from first to third. He'll take that. And so will the Dodgers. So the 7 and 8 hitters both do their jobs. And with nobody out, the Dodgers have runners at the corners and Miguel Rojas coming up. So the first pitch to Rojas squares up like he's going to bunt and fouls it back. Misses the opportunity. So 0-1 to start this at bat. Wonder if he's going to try to squeeze again. That's uncharacteristic of him. Lorenzen checks first. Has a fast runner over there. Oh, and throws over. But not in time. Freeland didn't even have to slide. So squares up again, gets it down, but Lorenzen makes the play and shovels it to home plate easily and makes the tag on Dalton Rushing. Boy, it wasn't even close. I don't know how I feel about that. So an opportunity, definitely, with nobody out. But, you know, if the squeeze is better, and I don't know, Rushing can run okay. He's not the fastest Dodger, but I think he's got pretty good wheels, especially for a catcher. Then, you know, maybe the call is correct. I don't see Dave Roberts authorizing. Well, let me put it this way. I don't think the Dodgers do that without authorizing it. But nonetheless, Dodgers do still have 2 runners on, one in scoring position with only 1 out, and Shohei Ohtani coming up. Shohei has already hit his 300th home run in his first at bat tonight. And the first 2 pitches miss clearly for 2-0. Lorenzen justifiably kind of dancing around the strike zone. Make that 3-0. At this point, why don't you just walk him? Just give him the intentional walk. They choose not to. And they're going to keep pitching to Shohei with a 3-0 count. And he looks at the next pitch for a strike. So 1 away, and the only person who's done damage to the scoreboard is up there again. 3-1 count to Ohtani. And the next pitch misses for ball 4. So now the bases are loaded for Andy Pages. And it looks like they're going to have a conference on the mound. Could that be it for Lorenzen? He's done a really good job for him. And this is a guy with almost a 7-run ERA and finds himself in a pickle. But he's only given up 1 run at this point in the evening. They are not fighting or dancing on the mound, but it's always funny to see that. So it looks like they're going to leave Lorenzen in. And so Andy Pages has a golden opportunity to add to the Dodgers' lead. And this is right about in the part of the game where you'd expect things to break loose. Like I was saying, the first few innings felt like the calm before the storm. You have probably the best offense in baseball going against a guy with 7 earned run average, just a tad, a hair below that. And Andy looks at the first pitch for a ball. Needless to say, the last thing they want to do is walk home a run. And because of that pressure, easy to give up some cheese here, but it's 2-0. Thanks, Mick in Wonderland. That's funny. Yeah, some of these timeouts are the best, most entertaining part. Just for the levity and the way the 3D glitches. But it's 3-0. And Pages steps out. And the next pitch, this is outside, ball 4. And Lorenzen walks home a run. A lot of breaking balls in there. And there was an opportunity for at least one of those pitches to be challenged. And this is the kind of situation where you want to challenge this. You know, when you've got bases loaded and it's a crucial situation in a close game or halfway through roughly, that's when you want to challenge. So that's a little bit on the catcher, even though Lorenzen did throw 3 balls, clear balls. So it walks home a run. The lead's 2-0. And still there's only 1 out. And you look up with bases loaded. And it's the last guy you want to see if you're a Rocky. And swung on and fly to right field, but not deep enough to be able to have anybody tag up. Castro makes the play pretty easily. And now there's 2 away with Max Muncy coming up. Max frustrated so far tonight by Lorenzen. He struck out twice. And in typical Mad Max fashion, did not look happy either time. But who would be happy? And it's lefty on righty, so Max will have a good look at some of this. But then he can turn on and maybe drive to right field down the line. It'd be great if he hit a double and brought home a couple of people. Looks at the first pitch for a ball. Next pitch misses outside, 2-0. Lorenzen now up to 80 pitches on the game. And the next one misses way high for ball 3. I guess you give Max Muncy the green light, but you'd love to see him make this guy throw. I mean, make him throw a strike because he's already walked home a run. Pitch swung on and lined to right field, but it's right to Freeman for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Dodgers squeeze in another. Some of it you put at Lorenzen's feet, but the Dodgers had something to do with it. And now at the end of 5, it's the Rockies still at the goose egg and the Dodgers too. So Robleski comes out, guys, and he's already thrown 6 strikeouts. So if you live in the Los Angeles area and you're not aware of this, 1 more strikeout, and you get a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with the purchase of a drink at any local Los Angeles Jack in the Box. So TJ Rumfield comes up. And we'll see if Robleski goes right at him. He does, and it's fouled off. It's a 3D, takes a minute to catch up. That was not a Dodger batter. Rumfield's 1 for 1 with a walk and a single tonight. The Rockies don't have anything to show for it. And quickly, the count is 0-2. If you're in Alaska, maybe they'll ship it to Alaska. I don't know. Can you freeze a Jumbo Jack and mail it? Might be worth trying. If I was in LA, I'd try to help you out. I'm not in San Diego. I was in LA for 50 years. So first batter strikes out and 1 away at the top in the top of the 6th, and that brings up the 4-hitter Carrick, who's 0 for 2. Fouled out last time up and banged his bat into the ground. Batting 300 though. Good contact hitter. Pitch swung on and hit to left. Oh, and it hooks after it bounces fair into the foul area. Edman picks it up and throws, but it's going to be a stand-up double. So Robleski gives up a double. Outstanding job. So now they have a runner in scoring position and Freeman up. Freeman's 0 for 2, batting .271. If you're just joining us now on LA Press Box, welcome, guys. And Robleski is in the process of earning everybody here that's in Los Angeles a free Jumbo Jack. you live in the LA area tomorrow, or even if you're out of state, like the person in the chat that's from Alaska, you fly into LA, get your jumbo jack, fly back, see the sights, although it's a little bit warm. That's why I don't live in LA anymore. I bet you the weather is tremendous in Alaska. Well, hello, Charlie. Come around here. So the early count, Freeman, is 0-2. And the conference, which included the manager, you can't see him because they don't have 3D markers on coaches, was out there talking to the two umpires, was saying, what did you just call? Because it's 0-2. And they said that they called a foul tip off the edge, the lower edge of the bat. And so he's going to challenge it, and that's why there's a little bit of a delay. Yeah, what are the highs in the summer typically, like today in Alaska? San Diego was like 90, 91 today, and I'm in North County. And then LA, depending on which part of LA County, mid to upper 90s. So the challenge is still underway. Robleski's throwing to stay warm. All right, so the verdict is in, and the manager challenge from the Rockies is unsuccessful. After review, they say it did not hit the batter. It hit the very bottom of the bat, just like they said, and the count remains 0-2, and now the Rockies are down a challenge. So one away and a runner in scoring position. Freeman trying to take advantage. And the next pitch is line to right field. And Tucker picks it up and fields it quickly and throws to the infield for the cutoff. And that allows the runner to go to third but not score. So the tying run is on at first. Runners at the corners with one away. And Robleski trying to ideally get McCarthy to ground into a double play. But with the lefty, you can see that the fielders are shifted over. Swings at the first pitch, as they often have been doing, and shortstop Rojas gets over there and makes the play, throwing to first. But it allows a run to score, and so now the Rockies are on the board, and the score is 2-1. This is that kind of a game where, the Rockies are going to play as they have been to the very last strike. And last night was an indicator. We said in the preview and the warm up that they have scored more than anybody else in the eighth inning. They kept battling and almost beat the Dodgers if it wasn't for a great play off the fence by Andy Pages to Miguel Rojas and to Dalton Rushing for the tag at the plate, as well as the challenge at the plate to keep the Dodgers tied last night. So you just know the Rockies are going to keep fighting, which is really a testament to their culture. All the stuff that I kind of criticize the Padres for, these guys, to me, and I haven't watched them a lot this year, seem to be very different, very different. Good attitude, just keep taking their hacks, they're playing hard. And they're hanging with the Dodgers right now. So the pitch to Tovar, grounded to shortstop. Rojas picks it up, throws to first, and that's 3. But the Rockies get their first run. And so now, after the top of the 6th, the Rockies are within 1. The score is 1-2. Never been to Alaska. Love to go. Gosh, my mother went years ago. In high school. So Tommy Edman's going to come up for the Dodgers as they cling to a 1-run lead. And takes the first pitch for a strike, and Lorenzen's still in there. Oh, and 2 on Edman. And now the early count to Edman's 2-2. So the 2-2 pitch to Tommy Edman on the way. And it's grounded to first. Has a little bit of trouble getting it. Throws to the pitcher, and not in time. Two drop balls on this. So the first baseman backhanded it. At least tried to backhand it initially, dropped it, had to pick it up, then threw it overhand with a little too much heat to the pitcher, and the pitcher dropped it. And that gives the Dodgers the leadoff batter on base. And with no outs and a runner on, that brings up Kyle Tucker. Tucker's 0 for 2 tonight and fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. You wonder if Edman's thinking about stealing. Saw his speed on display, and he looks perfectly healthy after his off-season ankle surgery. This one is fouled high, and the catch is made for the out. So Tucker, as you can see with his head down, walks dejectedly off of the infield. So that's one away. And in the bottom of the sixth, that brings up the 7-hitter, Dalton Rushing. Rushing batting .267. One count. And Tommy Edman stealing. They're throwing down to second, and the throw is not in time to Tovar. Ha ha! Love to see that. Love to see that. I love to anticipate things. I did not have a crystal ball. Did not know that was going to happen. But, you know, the Dodgers play small ball. They're not afraid to do that. They're not sitting back just trying to hit home runs all the time. And Rushing looks at the next pitch for a ball, so the count's 2-1. And swung on and hit directly to the second baseman. And so that's 2 away, but that steal was very timely because not only did it put Tommy Edman on second base and out of range for a double play, but it allowed him to advance to third, and now Alex Freeland, who actually has a hit tonight, a little bit surprising, has a chance to bring him home. First pitch swung on and hit right in the hole and does his job. Oh, man, that's huge. For a guy that has not done great at the plate this year, clean base hit right through the hole and brings home Tommy Edman just like that. And now the Dodgers are up 3-1. Great job. So still 2 outs, and that'll bring up Rojas with a runner at first. Swung on, hit to short, and the play made at second base for the 3rd out of the inning. But the Dodgers manufacture a run with good baseball. Timely hitting in the right spot, a stolen base to avoid a double play, and now they have a 2-run lead at the end of 6. If you're joining us tonight for the first time at LA Press Box, welcome. We are a new channel starting up for LA sports fans. Appreciate the like, the subscribe, and the participation. One of the things I'm working on is, in addition to trying to make this unique, having in addition to the 3D and all that other good stuff, and the stats, and the narration, putting together a new app that will interface with what we're doing and give you guys a chance to make predictions and win prizes later on. So spread the word and come on back as we move through the summer and get into the fall. We are going to be incorporating football as well. Then later on after that, basketball. Although I played baseball for many years, I didn't play at the level I did football, played college football, and was also a college football coach. So really looking forward to what we can do with this channel in the fall when football rolls around. But we won't leave the Dodgers behind. We'll just multitask as they inevitably get into the playoffs and march towards October. So the score is 3-1. And now the Rockies send up Fulford. And a check swing for strike 3. So thank Justin Robleski, if you're in LA, for the fact that you can get a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a small drink, I think. I know you can get one. I just don't know if it has to be a small drink, a large drink. That's up to you. So Maniac comes up. And swung on. Hit to second base. Here comes Freeland. Charges the ball, throws to first, and it's in time. So 2 away. Good stretch by Freddie Freeman. We kind of take Freddie Freeman for granted at first base. Of course, we enjoy him. We look forward to every time he comes up to bat. But he does a good job at first base, stretching to help make plays defensively, digging the ball, covering if it's, something that's hit off of first base and shoveling to a pitcher who's got to cover in a way that makes it very catchable. He's one of a few future Hall of Famers that the Dodgers have. But they're Hall of Famers because they're willing to do the small things to help their team win. First pitch is fouled off for strike 1. Castro's 0 for 2 tonight. And he's got a 265 average. Guys, if you didn't tune in last night, I didn't broadcast last night because I got home late from work. But it was quite the game. And I have a lot of respect for the Rockies. They're trying to rebuild. Obviously, they're kind of bottom dwellers when it comes to the record, but I'm not casting any shade. As a coach and as a player, I've been on both sides of it. I've been a part of multiple championship teams in different sports. And I have, as a coach, won championships and been on horrible teams that couldn't hardly win a game. And still fought hard and had a great bond. And that's kind of what I see in these guys. But Robleski fans the next batter, and he's got 9 strikeouts, guys. 9. Will they leave him in long enough to equal his total from his last outing? Last time Robleski pitched, it was against the Athletics in Sacramento. So I don't know if you guys are following this, but in Sacramento, the A's, who are in the process of moving from Oakland to Las Vegas, are kind of in limbo and playing at a really small stadium until the new one can be built in Vegas. So they're just kind of playing there, and it looks kind of cozy. I mean, in terms of, just having a smaller, more intimate setting, poor Athletics, it's not an easy position to be in. And when they played against the Dodgers, there were definitely more Dodgers fans than there were A's fans. But when Robleski was up there, he had 11 strikeouts and no walks. Tonight he's got a couple of walks. And, of course, he's given up a run. That was on him as much as anybody else. Dodgers defense isn't automatic, but it's rare to see them make a mistake. But doing a solid job, only holding the Rockies to 1 run. Who have some good, solid hitters in the key positions you would expect. And it seems like they're building a solid culture. I'm not going to cast shade on somebody just because they have a poor record. Let me know what you think about that in the chat. Once again, the Ohtani show is here, and if you missed it at the beginning part of the game, he hit yet another leadoff home run in his first at bat. And it was his 300th home run of his career. First one, high and inside, and brushes him back a little bit. He's also walked tonight. They did not walk him on purpose. But they were definitely trying to dance around the strike zone with runners on. There were 2 runners on. Ended up walking him and then walking home a run. The second run of the evening. Swings and misses on that one. Boy, look at his body language. That's one of those pitches where he tries to turn on it inside, but it's a ball, and he opens up and pulls his head completely. His bat is not floating, and swings and misses for strike 3. So looks like Robleski is done. And yep, getting a lot of hugs and people dapping him up in the dugout. Andy Pages comes up, who's 1 for 2 with a single, a walk, and an RBI tonight. Meanwhile, it looks like Will Klein's getting warm in the bullpen. First pitch high to Pages. Early count to him is 1-1. And the next pitch fouled down the left field side for strike 2, 1-2 to Pages. Next pitch, and it's grounded up the middle. Second base gets over there and covers it, and pretty comfortably throws to first. So 2 outs, and the cha-cha music is playing in Dodger Stadium for, you guessed it, 3-hitter Freddie Freeman. Freddie's 1 for 3 tonight. So comes up with 2 outs and nobody on. And not the Padres. I've seen a lot of Dodgers-Padres games this year. The Rockies have Mejia on the mound. And Freddie's been hitting him pretty well. Next pitch to Freeman, swung on and hit to right center and drops in easily for another hit. She's so precise and it's just so disciplined. So disciplined. Last time he got a hit by squeezing it in the middle, even though the whole defense was squeezed to the middle and trying to play him for that. So that's going to bring up Max Muncy, who struck out a couple of times tonight, and he's 0 for 3. And looks at the first pitch for a strike. Next pitch on the way, and it's a shot to second base, but right to him. And Max is just waving his bat, as you can see, because he's like, oh, man. I jumped all over that. All over that. And sometimes it's just to the wrong spot. But, if you play baseball long enough, you know that that's not something that, you can spend a lot of time dwelling on. You make good contact, you're going to find the open spots. I mean, the true pros, the most elite people like Freddie Freeman can kind of guide it to the right spots, but that's even then, it's extremely hard for a Hall of Famer like that. You see kind of a contrast between um, him and a guy like Alex Freeland, who's made so contact and it's found the right spots. But if you look over the long course of the season, I mean, this is why, Max is where he is in the lineup and why Freeland is where he is. Because over the long haul, um, the power that Max has to both hit home runs, I think he's third ranked for the Dodgers right now, but also just turn on pitches and lace them along the right field line for doubles and triples yields a lot more for the Dodgers in terms of the win column and RBIs. So the Dodgers do, in fact, look like they're going to bring in Will Klein, the red-bearded pirate. I don't know what he looks like. He just saying what he first thing that comes to mind. And this is the exact kind of situation that the Dodgers have to build on. In the second quarter, we're still in the second quarter technically. The earlier part of the second quarter, they struggled with their middle relievers coming in and giving up leads. And it was up to the Dodger batting order to kind of explode in the seventh inning. That's kind of the time that they've done that most recently and most frequently. But the middle relievers, including Klein, have been better lately. So we'll see how he goes today. And the early count to Karros. Yes, the son of former Dodger, Eric Karros, who's actually announcing and watching his son play against the Dodgers, is up. And the son is 0 for 3 tonight. And the early count to him is 2-1. Another milestone for the Dodgers tonight. They make history as they go. Andy Pages recently named to the All-Star team for his first time. About a month ago, you had Freddie Freeman pass the 2,500 hit mark on his way to hopefully 3,000. And then Shohei Ohtani hit his 300th home run. And the Dodgers last night, after winning in extra innings, the first in the major leagues to get to 60 wins, trying to add to it here. So the count is 2-2 to Karros. And the next pitch misses, and now it's full count. This is not what we want to see from Klein as he kind of hops up and down on the mound. I hope you can see that. But he does. He walks Karros. And the Rockies are still hanging around. TJ Rumfield's up. He's 1 for 2. He's walked and singled, but he has 12 home runs on the season, and he's batting just about 300. So he's the tying run. See on first. Boy, he's inching over a little bit, but no steal here. And the first pitch misses. And so now Rushing wants to come out and talk to Klein. Rushing feeling himself lately. I don't know. The young buck, I mean, he's done some really good things. He runs hot and cold. And I don't know the guy, but he's the kind of guy I could see kind of rubbing me wrong if I'm a veteran and he comes out and tries to tell me what's what. But to be fair, that's also the job of a catcher. I played catcher for a long time, and it was so much fun trying to offer a little bit of leadership on the field that way. See if it pays off here, though. And the next pitch clips the strike zone for a strike. So the count to run field is 1-1. No outs, one on. And the next pitch swung on miss for a strike. So since their mini conference, 2 straight strikes. And Will Klein trying to add to the strikeout total tonight. Boy, that beard, if you could see that beard, it's glorious chia pet, but red. I mean, that thing's got to be like at least 6 inches. Next pitch was a ball. And so now the count is 2-2. Next pitch swung on and flied high. And Miguel Rojas goes back and catches it about 10 feet into left field behind third base. And so 1 away. I'm going to go back a little bit here and see the base paths. Just want to see if they're going to try to put some pressure here and manufacture a run or two. Because the Rockies are running low on outs. They're down to their last 5. First pitch is fouled off for strike 1. Carrick's got some power now. He's a cleanup hitter, and he's already got a double tonight, and he just absolutely laced that ball. And the next pitch, called a strike, but challenged by the Rockies. And this is a good time to challenge. I would support this time to challenge. And the challenge is successful. So misses inside, and now the count's 1-1 with 1 out. Next pitch also clips the strike zone, and now 2 strikes on Carrick. And the fans, I don't think they can catch this on the 3D, unfortunately, but they're doing the wave. So Klein hoping to put him away and just misses inside for ball 2. So the count now to Carrick is 2-2. Crucial time in the game here. What you don't want to do is just walk this guy. So with 1 away, 1 on, the pitch swung on and hit into right field for a base hit. And so Carrick delivers. And this is unfortunately what we saw last night. The Dodgers had a 5-run lead. And then in the last 2 innings, they gave it all away. The middle relievers gave it all away. And I was trying to be positive and not complain and say, hey, man, our guys are bad. Last night, is now looking like it was not a one-off. So that's going to bring up Freeman, who swings aggressively at the first pitch, and it's off of Rojas into center field, and this is going to score a run. Boy, oh boy. So they're showing the replay here, and this is going to be an error on Rojas. Normally, I'm singing the guy's praises and saying, how reliable he is. And he had to stretch for it a little bit, but it was off the left thumb of his glove. And into center field. And so now Dave Roberts comes out, and says, "That's enough, buddy. Thank you very much for your service, and thanks for giving up a flip and run." Oh, Will Klein. Goodbye, Will Klein. Goodbye, Will. So long, Will. Check your cubby, Will. We'll see you in the next one. We don't want to play around with this. We don't want to drop a game ever, but we definitely don't want to drop a game to the Rockies. So, no early reports about who's coming in. And no, these umpires are not in the huddle. One of them is a coach. The home plate umpire is not walking to the outfield. But the 3D does not track coaches. So you'll never see like a manager or a pitching coach come out with the 3D. So that's where it gets a little bit confusing. But it also gets kind of fun. I'm a little disappointed that the 3D didn't have them slam dancing on that one. But, you know, take what you can get. So 3-2, guys. We're definitely not out of the woods. I would like to see. Who are they bringing in? Dryer? Okay. Jack Dryer's okay. Done a solid job. He's pitched in 35 games. He has a 3-1 record and an ERA, respectable, 3.25, with 42 strikeouts and only 10 walks. So that ratio is really good. They actually interviewed him in the pregame show, and yeah, good dude. Seems like, you know, answered questions well, and just, you know, one of the many Dodgers who are just there to try to help them win. So we'll see what happens with one out. So McCarthy up and squares to bunt, and he gets it down on the left side, and a run's going to score. They throw one away at first, and then they throw it away at third. Oh, what a disaster. I mean, it's not a 100% disaster that they score and tie the game. Max Muncy charged the ball, and then there's nobody covering third. They don't have our normal shortstop in the game. I have a feeling that Mookie Betts would have covered third when he saw that Max Muncy was charging, because he's the person that plays there all the time. But Miguel Rojas didn't, and they showed Dave Roberts, and he's pounding on the front fence for the dugout in frustration. He is not happy. So just like that, it's all tied up. This is why you got to battle. This is why I have so much respect for the Rockies. And I'm not trying to criticize like Padres fans, because I live in San Diego, but the Padres fans need to do something about the quality of the product they're seeing, because they're so loyal. And I try when I mean, I spent 50 years living all throughout LA County. When I first moved to San Diego, I tried to be a good local. I really did. But I just couldn't get behind them. My heart wasn't there. And so, I know I do root for the people that cheer for the Padres. I'll put it that way. I mean, the Padres have a couple of players that are likable, but I feel like they have some players that are not likable. They don't have a good culture right now. And I could talk much longer than you want me to talk about when it comes to culture. But the Rockies, and this is the whole point, the Rockies seem to have a very different mindset. Very different mindset. They have a positive attitude. They grind no matter what happens. They don't give up. They're willing to do the small things to try to help each other win. And, you know, they are climbing slowly out of the basement of Major League Baseball. And I love to see that. I love to see a struggling team that loses a lot of games keep battling. This is part of what I think is amazing about sports, because it gives you that opportunity to work on your character and to inspire other people with it. So I hope Rockies fans are pleased to see this. So the Dodgers, now they're down 4-3 and looking up. And that's just so uncharacteristic of the Dodgers defense. So we're going to bring up Tommy Edman, try to climb back in this after the Rockies flip things on us. And he looks at the first pitch for a ball. Next pitch, fouled off for strike one, 1-1. Next pitch to Edman, and a line drive right at second base, and a quick out to start the top of this inning, or the bottom of the inning, the top of the at-bats. And now Kyle Tucker, who's batting in the sixth position and is 0 for 3 tonight, comes up trying to help the Dodgers climb back into this. His batting average, which was at 252 to start the night, just dipped to 249. So after Tucker gets out, now the Dodgers are down to 4 outs and Dalton Rushing coming up. No, that catcher is not left-handed batter sinking into the dirt. It's Rushing, emerging from hell, fouling one off. And the next pitch misses. Early count to Rushing is 3-1. So spark of hope there. But boy, things turned around quickly. And Dave Roberts is still fuming about this. And if Rushing gets out, fouls out the next one. So the count's now full. If Rushing gets out, the next time the Dodgers are up, they're still at the bottom of the lineup. So it's possible Dave Roberts would insert somebody to pinch hit. Maybe Mookie Betts, I don't know. But he has done a solid job so far and gets Rushing to ground to second base. A slow roller and an easy play for the third out of the inning. So after playing with fire, the Dodgers are potentially about to get burned. Down to 3 outs and trying to keep the run for the lead for the Rockies to 1 run. Question is, who does Dave Roberts bring in relief here? Yeah, I know. I'm crying too. All right, get in the chat, everybody. Tell us what you think's going to happen. I like this 3D stuff, but I'm not satisfied yet. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier tonight is I'm going to build an interface um, that will prompt you all for projections and predictions later on this summer. Hopefully in the next week I'll be able to unveil it, but working on it more today. And we'll have a little scoreboard for you all in the chat to see who is able to have the most predictions. And then we'll have some prizes we'll give away and see how much you belong in the press box. But the Dodgers are going to bring in Evan Phillips, who has an ERA of 2.22, has not appeared much this year. And as I said, in the fall, when football season rolls around, that's even more so my area of specialty. I've been a coach at a high level for a long time. We'll be doing some multitasking. We'll cover baseball and football. So Fulford is up. He's 1 for 3. He only has an batting average of 192. And Phillips starts the early count on Fulford, 1-1. Rushing challenges it. And it looks, as we zoom in here, like it did clip the strike zone. And the challenge is successful. So instead of a 1-1 count, Phillips has an 0-2 count to start this inning. And the next one's fouled off, and the count remains the same. I don't know about you guys. If I was in LA and I had the choice, I would take a win over a jumbo jack right now. Next pitch, swung on and missed for strike 3. Good job. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. So far, doing his job. And the next batter is the number 9 batter, Moniak, who is 2 for 3 tonight. He's got 2 singles. No way. They are not. Is that true? I don't believe everything I see online. There's no way. I think Jared Fogle is in prison for life. There's no way. He's not even out, let alone getting rehired. Hey, let me get my mascot out of here. Get out of here, Charlie. All right. Back to reality, people. And the next pitch fouled off. And Moniak late on that one. So good movement on these pitches from Phillips. And the count is 1-2. Next one also fouled off. The thing that's gotten the Rockies this far is what you can expect for them the rest of the way. They're going to keep taking their hacks. They know better than anybody in the majors that this game is not over. And they were in position to win last night. It really came down to like 1 or 2 plays. Literally a game of inches last night. I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens tonight. Counts 2-2 to Moniak. See if Phillips goes with the fastball again. He does, and Moniak can't catch up to it. Fouls it off, though. That was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And the next pitch misses high for ball 3, and now it's a full count. So the full count pitch catches the edge for strike 3. Dodgers into double-digit strikeouts. And 2 straight Ks for Phillips as he comes in relief. I like seeing this. Why did we not bring this guy in the 7th? So Castro comes up, leadoff hitter, who's 0 for 3 tonight, batting .264 this season. Castro did draw a walk earlier. He also has 6 home runs on the season. Fouls it off for the 0-1. Really uncharacteristic to see the Dodgers defense let them down. More than one play. So 2 away. Castro swings, and it's fly to left, and it drops in front of Tommy Edman. Can't get there to make the play. And so a 2-out hit. And the Rockies keep battling. That's what the Rockies do. One of the things that I was saying I respect so much about them. So good job making contact there after Phillips strikes out two batters. And that will bring up Karros, the son of Eric Karros, who is announcing this game for the Dodgers. And watching his son play, who so far is 0 for 3 tonight. First pitch misses way inside. And if we look at first, I don't expect any kind of a lead. He's right next to the cut. He's got his foot at the cut. Phillips throws to keep him honest. He kind of half slides back. In the early part of this game, they did try to steal on Dalton Rushing. He had a good throw down to second. He's kind of inconsistent, but did put him out on the steal attempt. And swung on and fouled up and out of play, and the catch is made by Rushing for the 3rd out of the inning. So we're going to the bottom of the 9th, everybody. And the Dodgers down to their last 3 outs. See what they can do. All right, get in the chat and let us know what you think's going to happen. It's been a fun chat tonight. Let us know where you're from and where you're at. We got a member from Alaska in the chat, which is super cool. Cool person, cool weather compared to what we're having in a lot of SoCal, unless you live along the beach. So they're going to bring in Jordan Romano, who's been in 13 games this year. He does have an 0-2 record. And yes, they are going to pinch hit. Now, normally you'd think that Freeland would not be in there, but he's got 2 hits tonight, which is uncharacteristic for him. 2 singles, and Teoscar Hernandez is on deck. Looks at the first pitch as for a ball. The other thing is Freeland can run. And so if he gets on base as the leadoff hitter, he can do some damage. Swings and misses. Strike 1. Dave Roberts looks dour right now in the dugout. He is not happy that they're in this position. He's got the sad chipmunk face. So the 1-1 pitch on the way. And it looks like it's a strike. But the umpire called it a ball, and right away the catcher's challenging this one. So the next, in the dirt, Alex Freeland turned away and flinched. And if he had let it hit him, he would have been on base. This is what tough veterans do. Man. All we get is a ball, not a runner. And we'll be kicking ourselves about that decision as well. I know it's a split-second one, but you got to be prepared for this. You have to go into the at-bat and the situation knowing, look, unless it's coming at my head, I am not moving. Fouls off the next pitch. So the count remains 2-2. Just hope Freeland's on a roll, you know? And sometimes you're feeling it like a basketball player that can, stroke threes and just hot. And he swings and hits it past the shortstop into left field. 3 hits for Freeland tonight. Where did you come from and where have you been? And the Dodgers are working on another comeback win. Stay tuned. Romano on the mound, nobody out, and Teoscar Hernandez coming up to pinch hit. And Ohtani on deck. And it's time for some breakdancing, I hope. Let's see. Let's go to the mound and check it out. That is not a Dodger. Come on, guys. Slam dance. Jump up and down. Let's go. Get excited. We're not yanking them. No, he couldn't make it to second. Plus, in this situation with no outs, you got to be really conservative. The last thing you want to do is give up an out cheaply when you know you're on base. So it wasn't even worth him trying to press it. I mean, he's got speed, but if he had done that and gotten thrown out, it would have been terrible, guys. So Teoscar Hernandez is up. Teo, who hit the grand slam against the Padres the last time he faced them. And Freeland's stealing. He's going, and the throw is not there in time. Way to use those wheels, Freeland. He is safe. Oh, great job. I hope you guys caught that. I tried to click that just at the right time. Wow, and a base hit with no outs right now is all it would take to tie up the game. So Freeland does more than his share of the work. And now you have Teoscar Hernandez, followed by Shohei Ohtani on deck. Wonder if they walk him. Next pitch is a ball. Now it counts 2-1. If Teo gets on, I think they're going to walk Shohei. I mean, there's only two options. Walk Shohei. Pitch is high for a ball. Walk Shohei automatically. Just intentional walk. Send him over there. Or don't throw anything close. But even if you get him to hit into a double play, that's only 2 outs. But first things first, Teo's got to get on. Swung on and missed. So 2 strikes on him, but it's a full count. And a walk would still be good. Let's get a little closer here. So full count to Teo. This is practically a no-pressure situation for him based on what he's done in the playoffs in the past and the World Series. Oh, the next pitch is kind of a choke job. Way outside. So he walks Teoscar Hernandez, and here comes Godzilla! Shohei Ohtani, who just had his 32nd birthday, and tonight, in his first at-bat, hit his 300th home run. Everybody in Dodger Stadium on their feet. And it looks like they're going to pitch to him. So Shohei just hoping for a mistake. I mean, if they're not going to intentionally walk him, they're not going to give him anything to hit. Oh, check swing on a bad pitch, and it's a strike. Oh, man. Come on, Shohei, be disciplined now. You do not have to hit a home run. No outs, runners on first and second. Thank you. Okay, breathe. Yes, thank you. Appreciate the advice in the chat. Next pitch. Foul back. Strike 2. So 0-2, early hold of Shohei. Two runners on, nobody out. Swung on, hit in the air, but short in the infield. It's actually infield fly rule. It breaks his bat. And 1 away in the inning. The Dodgers are down to their last 2 outs. So Andy Pages comes up. Romano looks home for the signal. And steps off the rubber and looks at second base to prevent Freeland from trying to get a jump potentially. And gets a bunch of boos from the Dodgers stands. And the first pitch misses for a ball. 1-0. One pitch at a time. Next pitch. Fly to right, and it's short. And Freeman's going to make the catch, and Freeland cannot tag and go to third. So now 2 away. Dodgers started with runners at first and second with no outs. and two of their most important hitters not able to deliver. But now their most clutch hitter with 2 outs comes up. That's right. Frederick Freeman. Always, always. If there's one person you want to come up in a clutch situation, it's this dude. So they go out in conference and talk about it. And look at the infield. They're so used to him hitting to the middle. The shortstop is not far from second base. They have a huge hole to the left that he could take advantage of, and he's got the discipline to do that. And the second baseman is not overly shifted like you would normally have for a left-handed hitter. And the first pitch is called a ball, but the Rockies are challenging it. And the challenge is successful. So 0-1 to Freddie Freeman. The crowd is chanting, Freddie, Freddie, Freddie. And the next pitch looks like it just missed. Well, it's called a ball, but it looks like it caught the strike zone, and they're challenging. And the challenge is successful. So 2 straight bad calls by the ump, 2 straight successful challenges by the Rockies. And now Freddie Freeman and the Dodgers are down to their last strike. Man, this is the thing. I love football, guys. That's my thing. That's my main jam. But nothing like, oh, he fouls it off. Nothing like baseball for suspense. Nothing like baseball. And this is like this. We're not even past the All-Star break yet. So Freddie in a hole. 2 on, 2 out. Dodgers down by a run, down to their last strike. Freddie looks the same every time he goes to bat. Just going to do his thing and watches the next pitch for a ball. And now the count's 1-2. So 1-2 with 2 outs. Mr. Freddie Freeman swings and fouls it off. Count remains 1-2. Lock in, Freddie. Lock in. Modest leads on the bases and swung on and missed, strike 3. So Freeman goes down swinging, and the Dodgers let it slip through their fingers, guys. That's unfortunate. And you got to give credit to the Rockies, man. I'm going to give credit to where credit's due. And they kept battling the whole night. They never got overly behind the Dodgers. The Dodgers had pretty meager run production. Wroblewski, he threw 9 strikeouts. And unfortunately, once again, the middle relievers are the ones that bite the Dodgers in the you-know-where. And that, I've been saying for months, is, I don't want to say that's their Achilles heel, it's their weakness. They do not have a most reliable middle relief staff. And they have to find somebody to step up. Now, the guy who came in the 8th probably should have came in the 7th. Or they could have done Enriquez. But Will Klein, dude, unless you have to put him in there, or it's a situation where you got a big lead, just let him get his work, but keep him on the back burner. He is way too inconsistent. Sorry, I got to vent a little bit to some people that hopefully care, but I won't do it for too long here. I'm so grateful that we have the best record in baseball, and it was cool to see Shohei have another leadoff home run tonight, hit his 300th, and hopefully the Dodgers regroup for tomorrow. So thanks to everybody who joined us tonight for the first time. Love for you to like and subscribe. Appreciate the lively interaction in the chat, and look forward to seeing you guys next time. That's it for us at LA Press Box. Have a great evening, guys.